Hey losers, welcome back to my channel. I'm Coral and I am here today with a I was gonna say a little bit of a book haul. It's not that. It is a sizable book haul, in part because my birthday is at the beginning of July, so since I'm filming this like a couple days into July, I'm just going to include this as well. And that's it. That's what I'm doing. That's why you're here. First of all, though, I want to tell you about this book. The author, Nathaniel Toll, reached out to me. I follow him on Instagram, so like I see that he posts these things about these movies, and I'm always like, oh yeah, that's a great one, or oh, I've never heard about that, I want to watch that. And he fucking wrote a book about it. So I was, oh my god, so stoked. Like, this is a book I would have bought anyways, because I love horror movies. I love finding new horror movies. I love having a list to tick off, you know what I mean? So this is kind of that. This is Horror Galore 300 Fantastic Fright Flicks You Might Have Missed by Nathaniel Toll. Let me read you the synopsis. It says, if you already know the universal monsters, deadites, cenobites, the people under the stairs, silver shamrocks, maniacs with blades on their fingers, and others with a love for machetes, then it's time to take your fandom to the next level by diving deep into the DVD bins for some horrific hidden gems. Horror Galore is the most comprehensive compendium of lesser known films in the genre, with 300 truly awesome titles that all share the common distinction of being underseen and underappreciated. Are you brave enough to watch them all? Check them off one by one as you make your way through the extensive list of vampires, zombies, sharks, sorcerers, animated spooks, haunted houses, evil coastal towns, rubber-suited monsters, theme park massacres, dinner party disasters, summer camp slashers, and so much more. With its entertaining layout and wide variety of recommendations, Horror Galore will help you pick what horror flick to watch next, no matter what you're currently craving. So, okay, this is cool for a couple reasons. One, immediately flipping through, I'm like, oh sweet, there are some photos included. Very awesome. Also, very exciting to me is at the beginning of each film, Nathaniel writes about, there is the title, the year, right? Which is, I like to know those things. Also, the director, the writer, and some of the cast. So it's just like, I love knowing all these things. Anyways, it's perfect. I'm so excited to read this. I'm gonna go through and tick off the ones that I've read already, or the ones that I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna read the ones I've watched already and tick them off and start looking for more. So this is super exciting. Okay, so it is out already. You can buy it from Barnes & Noble, from your local indie. Maybe they can order it in for you. So yes, I would like to tell you about that because I am so excited. What a fun cover too. Okay, so then, sorry Fangy. Dropped a sticker on Fangy's head. She's been following me around all day today. I don't know why. She's being a little needy baby. I went to Barnes & Noble for my birthday, of course. And I got a couple things. I got two books that, really, I got a lot of new releases. So I'll tell you about the ones that I got that were not new releases first. This is Shirley Jackson's The Lottery and Other Stories. So this is a short story collection by Shirley Jackson. I got Jackal by Aaron E. Adams, which is a book that came out last year that was on my list. Didn't get the chance to pick it up, but here it is. This is about a woman named Liz, and she is coming back to her hometown. She doesn't really want to do it, but it's for her friend's wedding. So you know, she's doing something nice for her friend, even though she's not like super comfortable with being back home. She's a black woman, and it seems like maybe that might have something to do with her feeling of unease, right, about doing this. And on the night of the wedding, the bride's daughter, young daughter, goes missing. And, you know, everyone's frantic about it, obviously, but then Liz is like taking a step back and she's like, huh, this is really weird because this is just like something that happened when I was in high school to another black woman, another black teenager. And so like, is this thing a cyclical thing that keeps happening to these young black women, these children? I don't know, but I'm gonna read it and find out. Also, this cover is really gorgeous. My next couple ones here are new releases. The first one here, Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. This I'm definitely breaking out when the weather starts to get colder, because this is about a group of people. They are on a tour guide. They're up in the Rocky Mountains, and a unexpected storm comes in, and they are able to find this like abandoned cabin, but they're not able to leave this abandoned cabin. And their tour guide goes missing at some point for a bit, and they find the tour guide the next morning, luckily, except for that, like, their head is gone and on a stake outside in front of the cabin. So everyone's very upset. Obviously, it feels like one of the people in the group did this. So a bunch of strangers locked in a cabin together, unable to leave, they're isolated, and it's just the makings of a great horror story. You know what I mean? Then I picked up Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. This, I don't know if it was on my radar at all until I saw the cover and I was like, oh, that is very cool. Well, first of all, like, the teal is very appealing to me. And then the like VHS with the ripped up case looks, it's just great. It's great. So this is about a woman whose son has recently died, and she's going through this stuff in his room, and she sees this thing like written out on the floor. It says, what is it? Clifford Island, right? So she's like, what is that? She's just kind of like looking for answers. I'm not sure from the synopsis if her son has died under mysterious circumstances or if this is just part of her grief process. But she wants to find out what Clifford Island is, and she finds it. It's like this island where these people are living, and collectively it's like it's 1994 there. Like, they're all acting like it's 1994, like O.J. Simpson trial and things like that. So she doesn't know why, but also it talks about this young teenager who lives on the island. So I don't know if there's dual perspectives there, or exactly like what like the conflict is going to be in this. It says that the teenager Lily, she's like, why is it so weird here? But oh, never mind. It says that the mother Willow disappears. So I guess that's the conflict of this story. And I'm excited to read it. It sounds like it's gonna be kooky. Small Town Secrets, I like that. Then also I found a copy of All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. I am really looking forward to this. This is about a sheriff. I think it says he's the first black sheriff in his county in Virginia. And there's only been 2 murders in the history of time there. So it seems like a very small town, a very quiet town. But then there is a murder, and it is a local school teacher, but they were murdered by one of their former students who has allegations against them. It said like this person abused me and stuff. But this murder opens up this like huge can of worms for this small town sheriff who I'm presuming like hasn't ever had to deal with a murder in his career. And it seems like it might be one of those where it's like it goes all the way to the top, you know what I mean? People in high places doing bad things and being able to cover it up, stuff like that. So another small town with secrets kind of thing, possibly. I'm very excited about this. I love S.A. Cosby's work so much. He is such a, he just writes with his whole fucking heart, and it shows. It's great. Love it. And then another book I'm dying to get my hands on. This is The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. She wrote the book The Push, which I also really loved. And this is, oh god, this is about, I believe it's a neighborhood, right? Yes. So this is giving me good neighbor vibes already, right? This is about a neighborhood where something bad starts to happen. Just like this little seed of a something that grows and grows and grows, and it seems like it just has wild consequences. over such a small thing. So this is about this neighborhood. There is a mother named Whitney who is kind of, it seems like she might be the it girl of the neighborhood, and she yells at her child like in front of everyone in a way that is just like really kind of shocking. And then a couple days later, that child gets injured in an accident. But all these people in this neighborhood are like kind of involved. It says one is the ER doctor, one lives next door and watches everything. One is her best friend and like suspects some things. So it seems like really a lot like Good Neighbors, honestly, which is one of the best books I've ever read in my lifetime. And I'm really hoping that kind of captures that spark of like, yeah, like I said, just like this one tiny seed gets planted and it spreads like roots of corruption everywhere and destroys families and lives. Why does that make me happy? I don't know. But like really, God, am I gonna read that? Am I gonna pick that up and read it right now? Like I don't do that often, but sometimes I just need to. I think I might do it. Is this crazy? Am I being crazy? Yes. For me. I know, so fucking wild. Then I ordered a couple things from Book Outlet, which I haven't done in a really long time. Because a lot of the times it's like, oh, I've already bought that for retail price. But there's actually quite a few here that like were books that are just like a year or two old that like I never got to, or books that I've wanted for a while and have been looking for used copies of and stuff like that. So first of all, I found Sex Cults None, which is about it's by Faith Jones, and this is a memoir about growing up in the Children of God, which is a religious cult. Honestly, like one of, I think, the worst in terms of like what they've done to children in particular, like just unspeakable things, terrible things. And it has had like a lot of consequences. It's really terrible when you hear about it. So this is her memoir. I think it said that the leader was her grandfather. I can't remember what his name was. So this is a memoir of her life there. Then I also found a copy of The Dragon's Promise by Elizabeth Lim. This is the sequel to her book Six Crimson Cranes, which I read a few years ago when it came out. And honestly, I fucking love that book. That book was great. It was like a really like kind of more lighthearted fantasy. But when I say lighthearted, it's like the stakes were high and they felt high, which is part of the reason why I liked it. But it really was like a really nice story about a young girl who is trying to save her brothers, and she ends up meeting somebody who she really likes during this. It's one of those situations where part of the time she's under a spell where she can't speak, and so it was just so good. There's lots of fun magic in this, and I can't wait. I think I'm gonna have to like reread the first one, which is fine, to get to the second one, but I'm really excited to get my hands on that. I also bought Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, which I actually realized after buying this that I bought a copy on my Kindle, but like I am so bad at, like I just need to stop doing that, or like also look at my Kindle once in a while. But this is like a really cozy fantasy about army, I don't know, a war veteran, I guess, orc who opens up a coffee shop, and it just sounds so nice. And I think this now has like a companion novel about a bookstore that like came out like very recently, and I'm also just gonna have to read that too. It just sounds like one of those really nice books where like that I do need to make sure I'm incorporating these, I think, more into my life, because sometimes it's really just nice to read something that your brain doesn't have to process too much. There aren't a bunch of bad things happening to people, which I like, but like I just like recently I read a book that was like totally out of, I'll talk about it at the end of this month. It's totally out of my comfort zone though, and it was just like I read it in like 3 sittings. And it was like an almost 500-page book, which is crazy. Like, it usually takes me, you know, much longer to read something like that. But I think because it was just, and not that this will be brainless or thoughtless. It was just so easy, like there was no processing, it's just like all intake and nothing else, you know, so I think my brain needs that once in a while. Anyways, enough about me, more about these books. I also picked up, this one wasn't from Book Outlet, I don't think. Yeah, this one I got from Thrift Books, but oh yeah, I ordered a couple books from school, for school, so I think this was like $2.99 or something, and I needed like $1 more to get free shipping, which would have been more than like the $2.99 I paid for this book. So it's like, okay, this, right? It was on my list. But then reading the synopsis, I'm like, oh, I'm really actually excited about this book. I guess I just like didn't remember what it was about after like adding it to this list. But this takes place in the 90s, so like that. Also, there is a contest, right? In this like haunted escape room, it says. So like, thank you and thank you. Like haunted houses games, right? I love that shit. But someone breaks in during like this contest and kills one of the contestants. And that's all I need to know. Like I don't even read the rest of the synopsis. It doesn't matter. I bought it. That's it. Also, I picked up Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses by Kristen O'Neill. It seems like it's gonna be maybe like not a full-on horror novel, but it obviously has some horror elements to it. This is about a girl named Priya who is very studious. She's planning on going to Stanford, it says, but she has Lyme disease and that hits her harder than she expected, and she has to go like home, and it's really disappointing to her. But she gets hooked up with kind of a online support group for other people with Lyme disease, and she meets a girl named Bridget, and then after some time Bridget just like is not online for a long period of time, and Priya's really concerned about her, especially, you know, having a chronic illness. Priya goes over there and she finds some sort of creature in the basement, and she's like, what the fuck? But then after a while she's like, maybe this might be Bridget. It sounds like just like a really weird, quirky take on a werewolf story too. So I also was able to find a copy of The It Girl by Ruth Ware. I think this is like her second newest book. Maybe that came out last year or the year before. And this is about a past event where these people were going to college together, and there's this girl named April who is the it girl. Obviously the story is the it girl, and April at some point gets murdered. Her suspected murderer is in prison, but some years later the main character, who is friends with April, and some other guy who was in their friend group too, are married. They're expecting a child, and a journalist comes to the door and says he suspects that the person who is in prison for April's death might not be the person who did it, and it just kind of upends this couple's life. And I think we can already maybe like guess where this might be headed, but also maybe that's a red herring in and of itself. I don't know, but I want to read it. I do really enjoy Ruth Ware. I also found a copy of The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson. This came out, I believe, last year. And this seems like one of those stories where it's like there is ancient evil in this land kind of a thing. This is about a woman named Nellie who inherits kind of a shitty estate. Like, it's just has been kind of run down over the years, hasn't been upkept type of a thing from her grandfather, and she's okay with it because she's escaping an abusive relationship, but there is, like I said, evil in the land. Very creepy. And then this book, Leech by Kieran Ennis, that is very, very intriguing. This is I'm just gonna read the synopsis to you because I really don't know how to really sum this up myself. It says, in an isolated chateau as far north as north goes, the Baron's doctor has died. The doctor's replacement has a mystery to solve, discovering how the Institute lost track of one of its many bodies. For hundreds of years, the Interprovincial Medical Institute has grown by taking root in young minds and shaping them into doctors, replacing every human practitioner of medicine. The Institute is here to help humanity, to cure and to cut, to cradle and to protect the species from the apocalyptic horrors their ancestors unleashed. In the frozen north, the Institute's body will discover a competitor. That word is spelled wrong. A competitor for... that doesn't bode well. In the frozen north, the Institute's body will discover a competitor for its rung at the top of the evolutionary ladder. A parasite is spreading through the Baron's castle, already a dark pit of secrets, lies, violence, and fear. The two will make war on the battlefield of the body. Whichever wins, humanity will lose again. So, what's going on here? I don't know. When you say the Institute, I think obviously of Fallout 4, which is like one of my favorite plots there, and I was like, be nice to the AI. Anyways, okay, 2 more things here. These were from this month's Nightworms package, which I did not unbox because it was like the end of June and I hadn't done it, and I was like, I'm just gonna open this. So, I mean, I didn't unbox it on video. I did unbox it, obviously, because here are the books inside. The first one here, though, is the Drive-In Multiplex. This is a homage to Joe R. Lansdale. So it's an anthology collection, which I have some thoughts about. Just like, I get why they do this, right? I get it. And for people who've read Lansdale, that's very cool for them. But I've not read Lansdale at fucking all. So like, I am not gonna understand, like, I'm not gonna fully be able to understand and appreciate the stories in here because I've never read his fucking work. Same with the Shirley Jackson thing. Now it's like, well, I have to read a bunch of Shirley Jackson so I can understand this anthology, which I'm getting there, but like, I really wish I could just read it, you know? But I can't. Anyways, here's a little, I don't know, is this like a novelette? It's only 40-something pages. But this is called Shooting Star by Joe R. Lansdale, and it's about a person who is one of only a few survivors involved in a horrific crash between a locomotive and a flying saucer. That means aliens, and I fucking love aliens. So if I'm gonna read Lansdale, maybe this is a great place for me to start. Just a short, sweet thing for October, of course, for me to read about aliens, because I love aliens. That is the end of my book haul. What else do I have to say here? I don't know. I'd love to know if you've read any of these and what you thought about them, especially if you've read The Whispers, if you've read All Sinners Bleed, if you've read Jackal, or if you plan on picking up Horror Galore by Nathaniel Toll. I'll leave a link to that somewhere for you to check it out and see if that's something you're interested in. If you like movies, I'm gonna assume that you like movies. So you probably need this book as much as I do. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Goodbye!